And there's plans A through G. And it just so happened, they seen this particular plan, H, and that's what they're pushing now. They weren't made aware of it, but they just came across it right there.
Who is this? Who is they?
The Pike County Commission.
Commissioner? Well, I kept getting interrupted that day, they were so I was being distracted, so I quit coming back in to listen to the meeting that day that it was held up here. But who was the gentleman that was speaking? Who was he with? Was he with the Corps? And I heard.
Bob Kirkpatrick, he's the county clerk from Pike County.
And basically said that they didn't really care as long as they kept the water out of St. Louis. Like I said, I only had gotten a few bits of the conversation, but that was
Jerry,
early.
the St. Charles man.
Oh, Jerry was here too,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
right. He's a St. Charles councilman, probably is the one you were hearing saying that.
He knows a lot about it too. Or he's learned a lot about it, I didn't know about it either.
What did he look like? Well, Patrick's kind of sharp head, he said.
I know Kirkpatrick, I don't think it was him. I wondered if it was somebody with the Corps. There really wasn't anyone here with the Corps that day, I understand. Okay.
You probably get an earful of yours here.
It's very devastating. I mean,
Can be. Well, it's not just the farming area,
Mhm.
you're talking about Clarksville, Ada, Ellsbury, Foley, Winfield, Old Monroe, all the towns.
So if you get an opportunity, let them know about the big disadvantages of Plan H.
well, is there do you have some place where we can circulate this address or this, who to contact to, voice a complaint?
Eddie Schieffer's gonna have petitions
Okay.
there for Thursday night, and then they'll be circulating out to the public too, as far as being able to get signatures opposing it.
Is that the only solution we have to the problem? Petition? Is that it?
No, it's,
Well, letter writing and things to legislators.
The legislature.
And other people do it, yeah.
Right. Yeah, contacting the offices of the US senators and representatives.
Okay.
yes, that's
Maybe we could make those available to the public. Easy access.
There's, every time I come to this meeting, I try to think of anything extraordinary that happens at Justice Center. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. It's ongoing, I think. The next drug court graduation is on the 15th of September. I think we have 6 graduating. And we're going to recognize the prosecuting attorney's office because they're going to have a transition with all their efforts with referring clients to the program. And it's going to be here in this building. I'm assuming Heather's talking to you all.
Got the invitation.
Okay, but she's
She's
talking about
already
the
got
place.
it, got it on the calendar.
Okay. And I think that the judicial conference, which is an annual thing, is in Columbia, the 29th and 30th of September. So we'll do many things. Yes.
You've seen the Walmart pictures of people, you know, crazy people at Walmart. You ever seen those emails? The people from Walmart, you never seen those?
No.
emails? I was just wondering.
It's shoppers.
I was just wondering if maybe, do you see quite a few sites out at the Justice Center, or some interesting people in Walmart?
Yes.
Maybe we should get like Justice Center.
Yeah.
You haven't seen those?
No.
You should just Google Walmart people on YouTube.
Peopleofwalmart.com.
Really?
It's one site.
I don't think they're on the shoppers, I think some of them are the clerks.
That's all I have.
Well, mine's on just a little bit different note. I have a couple questions. First off, we used to come together here over the past several years, elected officials, and make everybody aware of what's taking place and would support one another and come back from conferences and you talk about how supportive this office is with this office, and how everybody got along, and you hear other counties talk about the friction, the rivalry, those struggles. And it seems like we're going that way with the elected officials here. And we represent the people, we should be working together and getting along. What's happening? What's taking place? Why is it we're getting to the point where we're not working together as much, it seems?
Okay, I'm gonna speak up. And I'm gonna say that we all did get along, and we were doing very good and everything. And there was one person here that could keep us together. They could listen, and they would give advice, and they did a very good job, and that was Harold Creech. And Harold Creech is no longer here, and when he died, I think that's when things started the other way. And I don't know who you're gonna get to fill his shoes. I don't think that there's anybody here that can. And I don't know what we're gonna do. That's my opinion.
You know, I think you're right. Right after I came into office, almost 8 years ago now, it was kind of in the same situation, and I recall Harold called me one morning and asked if we could take a ride. Got in his truck, we went out, sat out at the fairgrounds and talked for 30, 45 minutes, and we came back, and he asked as far as bringing everybody together, as far as a great idea. And all the elected officials came into our meeting room downstairs, and Harold spoke right up, and he said the exact same thing that I'm saying today. We used to get along, we used to support one another. What's happening? What's going on? Why is it? And I'm hearing the same thing out in the public. It's getting out there. The general public are losing respect today with the government. And it's not just the federal or the state, it's the local government too. It's sad when it gets to that point, but that's what's being aired out there in the public. What can we do? Harold's not here.
You're right.
Harold's not here, but we gotta get that confidence back. We gotta get that support back for one another. The respecting one another, and then when we go back to, or when you folks go back to your conferences next year, you can indicate to them, as you have done in the past, Dottie, I remember you bringing it up in these elected official meetings, hearing other counties talk and how they bicker back and forth and how proud you were that we could all sit down together and we can communicate without bickering, backstabbing, fighting amongst one another. I don't mean to point you out, but I just recall you saying that. We need to get back to that point where we respect one another and their position. What's it gonna take to do that?
I know Harold Creech. I'll never attest to be Harold Creech. He was one of a kind.
Yep.
That's right.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'll defend every one of you. I've done it here in the last few weeks. I think I try to do the best I can. I'll never not do something for anybody. So that's my input. I have no malice towards anybody. It's just simple. It's stupid. It solves nothing. You know, at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm pretty proud of myself. So I think I can say that. Am I perfect? Hell no. Nobody is. So, for what that's worth, I just put that out there.
At our collective association meeting, first year I was there, they said, you know, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, you're elected by the people, because we are one family. We all work together. Collective